So we have a quorum, and we have a motion to accept the minutes from
I will second the motion.
22nd. So we have a second?
Yes,
Is that
Kevin
Kevin?
seconds. Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to do like Mary does. Anybody that opposes this, say aye. Okay, so that means the motion carried. Next item is the North Dakota Legislative update on the Water Topics Overview Committee. Rocky?
Yeah, just a heads up of a meeting next week on June 4th. The Water Topics Overview Committee, it's North Dakota Legislative meeting is being held. It will be mostly virtual, if not all virtual, and so there will be an opportunity to for the public to view that if they want. I haven't seen the link to that yet, but the agenda is published online, and I just stole the thing on the screen here from the agenda. I think Joel Paulson and Mayor Mahoney will be doing the presenting on that, and the agenda calls for, related to land acquisitions, audits related to the project, P3, and federal funding for the project. I know I've been working with Joel and the mayor on a presentation for that. Just a reminder, they did try to hold this meeting in March, and of course that timing was not great for anybody, and so that was postponed until now. And so it's a kind of a update from the presentation we were going to give in March that I think has been given to other groups locally as well. So we continue to make progress, but overall not a lot of high level stuff has changed since March, I think, either. So, but should be pretty interesting. Maybe one thing to note, having been on some other water related legislative discussions, the Resources Trust Fund, which funds water projects in North Dakota, that is directly funded by oil revenues in the state. And if you've noticed the price at the pump lately, oil revenues are down as the price is down pretty dramatically. And so that's been really the highlight of discussion in the water world in North Dakota. And I imagine it will be at this committee meeting as well, as how does that, what impact does that have on the state budget for water projects? I know Joel is on. If Joel had anything to add on that, otherwise we are just moving forward. Joel did send a legislative communication that I attached to that email today to everybody, along with the video links, so you can see that. It's a part of Joel's regular updates to legislators that let them know about the latest on the project. But it makes for a good sort of progress update if you need to see where we're at or share it with anybody. I think you're welcome to.
Yeah, thanks, Rocky. I'll just add that there's been a lot of interest in the COVID-19 potential impacts for the diversion project, and I think most of us, have had some discussions about that. We're not seeing any significant impacts at this point, but I think when we talk about the jobs that this project creates in the very near term, and the idea of getting people back to work as quick as possible, and reducing that unemployment and that reliance on unemployment insurance through the state. I think we talk about a lot of great potential possibilities as we move forward into additional construction with this project. And that'll be some of the discussions that we have at Water Topics, I believe. And it was also a component of the legislative communication that we sent out to all the state legislators today, talking about the advantages of putting people back to work very quickly with the diversion project. And I think that's a potential good story that can come out of the COVID-19 impacts. And so it's something that we certainly want to continue to communicate out to the public.
Okay, Joel, thanks. Any questions? All right, let's go on to the property owner outreach mitigation plan summary.
These two items were kind of put together. Your outreach team has done a lot of work over the last month getting ready for two major project milestones we anticipate. We thought maybe they happen before this meeting, but it sounds like they'll probably happen before the next meeting. We've been working with the state engineer's office in North Dakota on the mitigation plan approval. That's one of the legislative requirements from last legislative session as well. Mitigation plan's a comprehensive document. I think you've all seen the previous version. I think we're on version 5 now, and it talks about all the different mitigation policies and procedures we have as a diversion authority to work with landowners that are impacted. The CLOMAR is a FEMA CLOMAR. It's the conditional letter of map revision. This is really the best sort of guarantee we have that the project will do what it says we're going to do in protecting people and removing those at risk from the floodplain. And so this is FEMA signing off on the hydrology for the project. At the end of the project, then you submit for just a LOMAR. You take the conditional, the COA, and get a letter of map revision once the project is operational and built as we said it's going to be. What we're planning to do is that hydraulic model is significant for us as a milestone because it allows us to have a good snapshot in time of what the impacts are from the project, and it allows our land acquisition team to move forward with proper mapping information to show individuals on how they're impacted and how that impact meets the different requirements both federally and in Minnesota and North Dakota. And so we have an outreach effort and plan being put into place, and it's a comprehensive packet that will go out to property owners of 625 properties that are impacted, which works out to be about 400 property owners. We wanted to have a draft packet ready for the committee, but we didn't want to get ahead of ourselves on the FEMA process either, and so we are waiting diligently as we finish up the remaining questions that FEMA has on the CLOMAR application. But we anticipate that to happen over the next month and start the process of contacting all property owners with individual maps and summaries of what the mitigation plan entails and assign land agents to each property owner as well, so they have a direct individual contact. And so I think that's
any questions for Rocky on the mitigation for property owners? All right, next item would be communications plan update and schedule.
I'll let Tammy handle this one.
Yep, I can take this. So we've been working on combing through some of our data that we've collected to be preparing the updated communications plan. You have, if you can see the screen, I've put up kind of the outline of the plan as a whole, and it is similar to our previous communications plans where we have summaries and the purpose and a brief history. If you look down on the bottom left of the screen, we've done a lot of discovery work for this, including meeting with folks through focus groups, survey data, and gathering some general information. We also have been working to pull in analytics from the past 3 years to see what has been consumed the most and kind of take some points and tips from that. So on the right-hand column, you'll see that we have internal and external goals and challenges. And so those are these are a really high level list of the goals that we're kind of working around. And so I thought maybe we could walk through those and see if anyone had ideas or suggestions about those. And then the communications plan always includes a style guide so that we make sure that our brand is strong and people recognize Diversion Authority items when they see them, and some of the items like templates and glossaries and things like that. So for some of our internal goals, we're kind of focusing a little bit on making sure that our partners are informed, that information is easily accessed by internal partners, and that everyone understands the progress and that we're able to celebrate that progress together. And then externally, looking at audiences and making sure that they have knowledge of the project. And we've had discussions about how that's kind of really a wide general goal, but there's a lot of different audiences in relation to this project. And so the plan will kind of go into some of those and have a little bit more detail about the types of knowledge that people might want. And then the kind of the last external goal is engaging audiences in the project's progress and specifically construction as we move forward with that. So.
And Mr. Chair, I think what we'd like to do is, at the next meeting, perhaps we could bring forward those goals as Tammy outlined, but these are pretty high level versions. As she said, there's several different external audiences, but if maybe we could have a little more working of a session where we could talk about the goals and maybe even get direction or approval of goals at the next meeting if we laid them out for the committee.
Yeah, that would be great, Rocky.
So that's kind of where we're at with the plan, and I guess we can put together something a little bit more discussion in terms of specific goals and specific targets. And the goals are driven by some of that discovery data, the focus groups and surveys and things like that as well. So I'm open if folks have questions about this or.
Okay, well, maybe we'll have as our next meeting. You bring more information. Okay, what about the analytics? How's it been working?
Let's see. Okay, so I have the analytics report up, and the web map's been doing well. Website's been doing well. We are seeing this month, we saw a little bit longer visitation time on the website, and I'm not totally sure why that is. It's just the way I'm not exactly sure why that is, but that's what we saw. We did see a large increase in watch time and impressions, and a lot of that is due to the documentary that was published. And so we got a lot of eyeballs on that through our YouTube channel, and then also through the City of Fargo's Facebook page. And so I would definitely consider that, an excellent outreach effort, as so many people watched it and a lot of people watched long parts of that particular video. So that's great. And tweets and impressions and profile visits, which is great. One thing you'll notice here on the right-hand side, if you can see the screen, is that when we do flyover videos, we typically do a live feed on Twitter of the construction site as well, especially if there's action and movement. And so I expect that to continue with social media this summer, because that always gets good engagement. You can see this really short clip of 1 minute and 23 seconds got 70 views alone. And it's just of trucks kind of driving in and out of the Inlet construction site. So I would expect to see that continue and go up over the summer as we're progressing on construction.
Tammy, I know we got some analytics from the City of Fargo, as the City of Fargo shared the documentary on their Facebook page, and thought it was pretty neat. We did put a little bit of money into advertising that, just boosting the post, if you will, and it ended up getting over 41,000 people reached on there, which is pretty neat. And I think there was 4,600 engagements, which means over 4,000 people actually clicked either on the video itself to get to our website or to the City of Fargo's website. And so I think it was a good way to reach a lot of people, and I know we've heard a lot of comments about it. So. I think those things are working for us.
Yeah.
Okay, so since I'm on the phone, the construction video updates, you did that already. That's what you were just talking about, right? Or did you have more to show?
No, we have two videos that Tammy shot actually yesterday at the construction site, and you can see the latest progress. We did send out the links, but I think it is worth our time here. Since we have some time, they're each 2-minute videos. If we could show them, I think even with the choppiness, it still helps. And Terry Williams is on the line, who maybe could help narrate them and get some maybe better technical information. Terry, are you able to do that?
I sure can. The videos are pretty choppy on my end, but if you want to kind of halt at some point, maybe I could describe what's going on. Over.
Sure. Okay, I'll go ahead and hit play and just go ahead and let us know when to pause, Terry.
Yeah, sorry, Tammy Jo, I really can't see it on my end. If you just want to pause it and
Sure.
hopefully it'll show up. Yeah, a little bit more.
Okay.
So I guess what I'm saying is that you're flying in from the west over County Road 17, flying from west to east. And this is really a good vantage point. If you are out on County Road 17 and you're looking at the diversion inlet structure, you can really start to see it take shape. Right here, what you're seeing where the the crane in the center is sitting, that's really going to be the center of the concrete structure itself and where the 3 gates are going to be. The flat portion between where the structure is going to sit and where we are is what is going to be the spilling basin, where when the big flows come through the gates this direction, there's a stilling basin that's going to have blocks in it that dissipate the energy. That's quite a thick slab that's going to be there. The construction that's going on this season is driving all of the sheet pile and the H pile under the foundations. And they're actually probably going to start pouring concrete, I believe, in June. So that's going to be a pretty exciting day. And a bunch of us are going to get out there, as many as they'll let us, and make sure we see that first pour of the foundation materials.
Yeah, I don't know what everybody else thinks. But I really like this view where you can just see the width of the channel with the crane and the people in there. It just gives a perspective on how large this project really is and how much water we're talking about that needs to flow.
Yeah, so this structure will handle 20,000 CFS at 100-year, and then up through 40-some thousand CFS, with the huge events, what we call a PMF event.
And we can show the wild rice flyover as well.
So people may have not realized, but this is the Wild Rice River control structure right off I-29, and it did sort of break ground within the last month or so. So this might be the first time you've seen this if you haven't driven by there.
Yeah, so what you're seeing right now, you're looking south. And you see 173rd Avenue Southeast off to the west or the right, and then I-29 off to the left. You can see the contractor's staging area in the upper corner. Right here, just a bit to the east is where the structure is going to sit itself. And so, right now what they've done is they've done stripping of topsoil. They're going to start digging the actual, channel and where the structure is going to sit this year. So basically just a lot of site work this year, probably some pile driving as well. You can see a lot of that beetle-rich topsoil material that's been somewhat stripped and stockpiled. This is going to be a 2-gated structure, whereas the diversion inlet structure had 3 gates, and the Red River structure will also have 3 gates. This will handle, if you compare the Red River and the Wild Rice structures, the red will handle 2/3 of the flow, and the Wild Rice will handle about 1/3 that goes through town. The current anticipated construction completion for the wild rice structure is October of 2023. And then the turf establishment after that will take about a year. So we got 3 really busy construction seasons coming up here.
Has anybody else driven by that and noticed it or heard any comments about construction going on?
So,
Rocky,
Terry,
this is
can you
Katie with the
comment?
chamber.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask where these videos are being pushed out at and who the primary audience is for them.
Yeah, those are good questions. They are on the Diversion's YouTube site, so it's youtube.com/FM Diversion. They're also linked on our website. We'll push them out on our Twitter, but you really have to be interested in the project to get them that way. We don't have, the medium to hit the general public at a whole unless they're really, we're kind of you have to be interested in the Diversion project to get most of our stuff, either the newsletter sign up or Twitter, sign up. So we are sort of reliant on obviously groups like yours at the chamber that if you think this would be interesting to your membership, we'd love the retweet or, you send out the link elsewhere. That would be a great opportunity to get this information out to people.
And we
Okay,
do
sounds
usually
good.
include them in the newsletter when we send that out. And I will also say that, lots of times if we have media questions about construction, they'll use the video as well, which is helpful for people to be able to see it.
Yeah, they're helpful to be able to understand and visualize a little bit better. So they look nice.
And Katie, let us know if you prefer to have the native file for any of these, if you would like to use them for any other purpose. I know we've been contacted by another organization that talked about maybe utilizing the footage for their own purposes to promote, workforce related stuff related to the project, as opposed to, ours where we have other stuff overlaid. And so let us know.
Okay, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
we sent out that other longer video, so I will let them know.
Great. Terry, could you give us an update on what the schedule is for this long term?
For the wild rice structure?
Yep.
So this year would be pretty much site work. And then next year, it's really going to probably follow the same schedule pretty much as the diversion inlet structure, where next year the structure itself will start being built. And the following year, like 2022, the gates would be installed on the structure. And then 23 would be clean up all the operating machinery on the gates and painting of the gates and then seating. We'll have a pretty good detailed schedule from the contractor that I can share next month, either at this meeting or the Diversion Authority meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, I think, Rocky, do you have anything else? Does that end
I
come
just
to
maybe
adjournment?
maybe the only other update is, it's obviously election season as we're coming up, and we've had a number of conversations with different candidates, and I know Joe Paulson has done a lot of work talking with some of the candidates that have questions about the project, and we try to just get, information out to everybody. And we are talking about meeting with several coming up for the November elections as well. And if we do have turnover, we'll obviously have turnover on this committee as Mike Thorstead is leaving us. I think this is his last meeting. And so thank you, Mike. You're always welcome to come back as well.
I think I got one more, not next month yet.
Okay, great.
They don't kick me out till June 30th, so.
No, you can bring treats then for your last meeting. But we'll work with new committee members and, any other new elected officials too, to help them get up to speed and have the information they need.
All right, that sounds good. We'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Move to adjourn, Kevin.
Second, Carlson.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those not in favor, say aye. The motion carries. All right, thanks. I'm looking forward to the chance of sitting next to everybody and having good conversation rather than by phone or computer.